Okay, you're good.
All right, so hello everyone, James Rink here, and I'm in Orlando, Florida with Ben Murphy and Jay Essex. We are going to do a quick shot around this facility that allegedly they make super soldiers.
Sometimes there's some problems from where Atlantis is, which is what they call the Devil's Triangle, plus ships, small ships pop in and out over there. But on the West Coast is where the large ships come in and out. And when they do that, then it sends all these poor whales, pilot whales and stuff up on the beach, and then you put them in the water, they get right back in the beach. I mean, it totally screws them up.
So that would explain the Faroe Islands.
The what?
The Faroe Islands being a timed thing of things coming and going.
What's
the Faroe Islands is where they annually beach themselves every year.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't have a name for it. They do that by the hour.
They do it every year, at least every year.
Yeah, because I'm not seeing. I wasn't seeing an exact time or anything. But then again, like I said, I just got off the plane and my head's was getting cranked on hard. It was for an hour. Also, so I wouldn't feel my little new buddy that I call Homer down here. Homer. Yeah, he was. He's our I can't say right now, but he's something that's with the U.S. government.
Is that the NSA guy at the airport?
Oh no! He was funny. I should have gone up to him and offered him a hot dog. He goes, "Man, you're working hard. Here, have a hot dog." He's pretty funny. Big, strong, stocky guy, and looked at me. And people's faces can give away information, but when you can actually see their head, I mean, see the information in the head, see the pictures. They can't hide. Sometimes they look at me and they freak out and they just immediately look away. It's like, no line of sight, no line of sight. I think it's the funniest thing in the world. It's you could be on the moon, man. I can read your mind. Just, last night I went to a real cool dude, Grant Eagle. He's out in Australia, and I went into his head, cranked him up. Worked on his DNA and everything else, and he was seeing colors and stuff and light as I do it, but also working on a woman's spine out in up in Massachusetts, and then I was doing something with a gentleman out in New Mexico. So in Arizona too, actually.
Did you get anybody calling about the interview?
Oh yeah. Thanks, I appreciate it. I think there were 3 people called up right away that had seen it, and because yesterday from regular YouTube and then from what you posted, finally people are starting to figure out. It's like this one guy said, his name is Vance. He said, when I heard you, it's just like I knew that you were no bull. It was the truth. And then I started talking to him, telling him a bunch of stuff that I should know. And then he started realizing I was. And when you go into someone's head and you touch them, and they're more than 1,000 miles away, then it's kind of like, okay, something's going on. That's why the government knows that. It's like when it came by my house January 30th, and I said they were reading my emails. I told them, good, you need to learn something. One FBI and one Homeland Security. Really cool guys, man. Love them. Think they're great. But the problem is actually Homeland Security and NSA. They're the problem children here. They work for the ninnies, the things that run the planet. They're like their watchdogs. The Homeland Security is like their ground force. So I'm waiting for a lot of different things to happen, and just biding my time. I just keep getting stronger. So that's okay.
You think the government agents are following us around now?
They do a lot of stuff through satellite. That's all I can see in my head right now.
Think they're gonna be curious about why?
Actually, I get a feeling about a car way back.
Yeah,
they're watching us on satellite, but it's way back. It's like
there's some people on us.
Yeah, I swear it's like 3/4 of a mile or something. I don't know how it could be that far back, but it's.
Do they have listening devices to hear what we're talking about?
Okay. But they have incredible technology. They've been given a lot of stuff by the anonymous that are here, and they're very interested in this stuff.
I got a picture of alleged MIB, a Cadillac from the 1980s that somebody's bought, and it's on my blog. It's kind of curious to see all these devices. It's like when there's oscillate, old 1980s oscillator thing.
I haven't seen that.
That's pretty neat. There's no one in there looking at me, but there was something. There's two guys out in the car, in the baggage area, the two cars.
But you said there was like some kind of construction worker?
Oh yeah. He looked like airport construction, and the guy was stocky, really strong, and short hair. When someone looks at you with physical intent, I don't need to be cranked up. I mean, it's a regular conscious mind thing. You can see them where they look at you, but you can feel it too. So I walked by and I was just telling myself something's wrong with these guys, and I looked at him, and then the guy, the construction dude I'm talking about, he goes like that. He looks at me and then tries to act. He shook his head a little bit like this, like, oh crap, and then he went to look away like he's looking at me. And then I just smiled, and then he caught that out of the corner of his eye. It's like he's looking at me out of his corner of his eye, and he doesn't think I can see that physically. I mean, forget that stuff. I don't need my physical eyes for that, but whatever. So anyway, the little Porsche's getting stupid.
I saw that.
Yeah. Anyway, then later on when he walked by, he was just staring right at me. I just looked at him and smiled.
Am I okay for a while here?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
That's
Pretty soon, though.
it's nothing. When they shot at my truck, with a particle beam, a particle beam combination of EMP pulse, my truck went up in the air 8 inches. I'm sitting there at a traffic light, and the particle beam from a satellite will not miss by 2-3 inches. When it blew it off that much, it said, shit, we almost killed the guy. We could have killed him. Don't do that anymore. It's kind of sad because I kind of liked it. It's kind of exciting. It's nice. The whole Chevy truck just boom goes up near about 8 inches, comes straight down. The engine goes, like it was going to conk out. And then it puts a huge hole right in the street, just burns a hole right in the street. Then you go back 5 hours later to take a picture, and the whole area is paved over.
It's almost like Disney.
Yeah.
Someone jumps off the roof of the Continental, and within 13 minutes, it's all cleared up.
Where and when did this occur? That incident?
I don't know. Maybe maybe about a year and a half, year and 3/4 or something.
All of us had some kind of car problem. Well, not you, Jay, but I did, and so did Ben.
Yeah, my car's dead. As dead as it can be. First, I was hit by a
What
semi,
happened?
and now my engine blew up, pretty much.
Yeah, and you were right. My hydraulic line was bursted.
Yeah.
So, and of course, you had some problems as well.
$700 oil change is what I call it.
What, do you think there was some kind of no conspiracy there?
Nope. I'm looking at it. That's all done by the other side.
I'm sorry, Ben, am I turning, you said?
Pretty
What do you mean by?
I heard your voice, but I didn't register what you said.
What do you mean by the other side?
The source energy family, creator energy family, whatever you want to call it. It's
keep going.
The energy that this body belongs
Baldwin Park.
Yeah.
Why would Source want to make our lives hard like that?
They do that to arrange events to happen.
Okay, so what is this place here? This Baldwin Park? Is this where the facility used to be?
Yeah, this is where it all starts. Baldwin Park. This is where you are now in Stepford, and everybody's gonna act weird.
Yeah, as soon as I saw this, Ben's words came back to me instantly, like what he was talking
You can see the kind of area that this is, right? You can see the
Resting Hospital. That's what I get out of that side on the right when we went by testing Resting Hospital. It has to do with, it's like when they come out of the hospital, that actually be put over there. They got shit. They got stuff in their heads. The people in there. I'm literally seeing a woman with something in the back of her head on the right-hand side. It's silver. It's one of those regular, I don't know what you call it, implants, like from the movie series, mini movie series Taken. And it's silver. It's on the back of the right-hand side of her head. And it throws impulses in and out of the brain. They were experimenting. The whole thing was an experimentation.
What hospital are you talking about?
I don't know. There was some hospital.
Here?
Somewhere not that far. Wherever it is, they could make it here on a bus. They didn't come by bus, but that's how the image I'm getting. It's they could take them and bust them in for. It's not far.
That's one
Would this be
apart.
when the base was here?
Yeah, this is that's the school over there.
What's that? I was just going to say,
School.
what is that over there?
It's a school. There's no cameras around this.
So that's a
That's
school.
not a school.
Yeah,
I mean,
What do you think that is, Jay?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. No, there's something going on there.
Absolutely.
When I said hospital, boom.
That's it.
keep
Yeah.
driving around here.
Yeah.
What do you
there's
think is in that room?
There's the surgical instruments and stuff like that.
Is it Mark Ultra, or is it just, are they helping the general community, or is it something nefarious?
testing to learn how to control humanity. It's these implants and testing them. They're trying to make an implant that will really that'll actually be able to control people's motions and their actions, and nobody know it. Slick.
So I'm basically going back.
Yeah, back
That's
to
what they're trying to do. They're trying to make the perfect. Excuse me. They're trying to make the perfect implant so that they can control people, and nobody can pick it off by the physical
Now,
actions.
here's a VA medical center.
Yeah, this is the VA.
The testing, all this stuff was done in that building. That's a school.
Yeah, the school is very weird because there's bits of it that's blocked off.
No cameras.
No cameras.
That's not a school.
Yeah, it's,
I mean,
James
you
Rink.
know, they can call it what they want.
Can't film here.
Huh?
Can't film here.
Oh, you
No,
can
we're
film
talking about
wherever
at
you
the
want.
school, no cameras
we
at
don't
that
care.
school.
Yeah, the school.
Yeah.
It says
There's
a
absolutely
sign
no
that says
cameras allowed at that
yeah.
school. And I was apologizing for the potholes while you're filming.
So this was all like an Air Force base at one time.
No, it was a naval base. It was a naval base. But the Air Force were here. Most of the personnel on this base were Air Force.
And it was public record as government institutional.
It was public record as the barracks.
On my stuff I pulled up, after the fact, it was government institutional, and then all around it was obviously
That's correct.
residential development.
This is all new. I mean, most of this is.
Now, did Heather show you that building, tell you about that building? How did your knowledge of that?
Yeah, she brought us to the building.
She brought you to it. Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, she drove past it, and we saw it, and then we kept coming back to it.
Just clip it on your.
I'm sorry, I'm slowing down over some of this pavement area.
Damn it, you're just no fun, Sandy.
I know.
Hey man, you buy the new shocks.
But you notice how all this is set up and how perfect and prim and proper
a little
it is.
crispy, isn't it?
This is too crispy for Orlando. Winter Park is the nice part of Orlando, and this is way past crispy for that.
I mean, how manic? That looks like a movie set.
Really, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, do you think they like?
We're in the Truman Show.
They got some energies going through the cell phone towers to kind of project.
But did you notice all the cell phone?
Absolutely.
Did you notice all the cell phone towers?
Yeah.
on top of the hospital?
On top of the hospital. They call it. Look at it. Oh, that's funny.
It's kind of amusing.
The guy's watching us.
All right, guys, here we are.
That guy in the brown outfit that's in that little trike-looking thing. He had a
All right,
walkie-talkie
keep
on
going.
him,
Ben,
and he
keep
saw
going.
you with
Keep going.
he saw you with the
You're gonna
camera.
make a left here.
No shit. And he turned right around and looked at you. I looked at him. He just looked away.
You're gonna make a left
Well,
here
I
because
think
we're right
he's
at. See
one
that
of the,
development?
Spies or
This
whatever.
on the
Yeah.
Yeah, I
left.
guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he's the kid was wanting to know what's going on. He's on. The kid had a walkie-talkie, man. I can't believe that.
What, back there?
Yeah, staring at us. Just someone who just watches the ground, some kind of security for everything.
Yeah, they have a lot of that here.
Yeah.
So they think I might be. Well, I guess I'm not a tourist.
At least we're in a Florida tag car, yeah.
That's right.
That looks like a jail over there across the water to the left.
That's
like an institution.
That's exactly what it was. Yep.
Where? Where's the jail?
And it feels like it.
Right over there.
Can you see it?
Yeah, it looks like a jail, but it feels like a
Put your hand
jail.
like through
The
there.
hopelessness and arrogance and control
I'm trying to get there.
and anger
Where's
There's a
your
military
suit?
and a
jail.
lot of fear. You want to talk about a controlled community, man?
Yeah.
Yes.
This place reeks.
I mean, my butthole's the
It's-
size of Pinhead right now.
It's big. It's big. It's nasty.
It's grown out of what nothing here looks normal.
There's FedEx.
You weren't filming when I said that, were you?
What?
My butthole's
Yeah. Yes, but it wasn't pointed on you, so no one knows.
That's blackmail extraordinaire right there. Oh boy. All right, Ben.
Not everyone
keep going
here.
up, please.
I
I'm
mean,
sorry.
this is a mix of people. This is a regular, and now we're getting more towards regular people. You can tell by looking, but you can tell by feeling. There's people mixed in here, and the whole idea is to see how the other folks mix in with the others.
You mean like some of their mind control projects?
Yeah. So some of the folks that have these nanobots and moreover these weird-looking things, we'll have to call them something. They're like stick bots or something. They're trying to get to the point where they can control people, but they seem normal. That's how they would infiltrate these people to get into places of higher security. That's the whole idea, make them seem normal when they're not.
Didn't you say the Scientologists have devices that make them impenetrable to infiltration?
Scientologists? No.
You said they had some device they could figure out who's lying. Or no, maybe that was someone else.
Yes, someone else must have said that, but honestly, they do use real good lie detectors and stuff. The Scientologists are nuts.
They use the handheld ones for themselves to clear themselves of an episode.
Yeah.
They'll repeat an episode in their life they don't like until it becomes a lie.
And that's basically what that contraption is a lie detector.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is.
That's what you're referring to, James.
The E-meter.
Ben, straight stick.
Yes.
The Mark
please.
7 E-meter is the device I'm talking about.
All right, now you see this building right here.
To the right?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
You notice this is a pretty active facility, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cars, yeah.
All right, keep going back.
Watching traffic.
Maybe they'll go around. Now, if you look to the back, you'll see those big power boxes that are right behind us.
He's taking a left.
There's a lot of administration in there.
You see those?
The high voltage, yeah.
Yeah. All right, well, the HG6 building, when it was standing, had about 12 of those, and they were all active.
12.
12,
Like that size.
that size. They were all active.
So these are probably all active.
Oh yeah, these are absolutely active.
You can use it. You can fix your cell phone to read the pulse, the output, basic output off of it.
Do you think that's an excessive amount of units right there for this area?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Lord.
Without a shadow of a doubt. You can keep going. Keep going.
Just realized
Well,
that.
do you think so? It's that connected to the underground facility, perhaps?
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe in that building, you think that's connected to that complex too, the building?
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. Okay, I want you to stop and go. Okay, here we are.
Are these those apartments you're
All
talking
right.
about that they're building?
Yes, this is where the HG6 building
I was going to say
was.
this is cover. I was going to say this is cover up, is what it is.
The Lutheran church is now a Baptist church.
Yeah.
It's right over there.
Now we're going to the church now?
Yeah, we're going to take a look at the church.
Right here.
Now, all this was the facility that was here. Okay. Now, as you can see, they're turning these into high-rise kind of, not high-rise, but they're turning them into apartments, which doesn't fit for this community. If you guys agree.
Why do you think they're building these high-rise?
Because it's staff for the people who are working in the facility below it. If they're expanding the facility below it, which would now be the perfect cover to do because of the construction work, they need more staff.
So we're coming up here at some kind of church that's allegedly
The entrance point.
I was going to say that's the entrance hall. I was seeing administrative, and then I actually focused on the front of the church itself, and it's like a welcome mat.
We already know what's going on with the church. They need a new access point. They would go in there and they would go down into underneath the facility.
there's a camera right there.
Yeah, a camera on a church. That's a new one on me.
Well, you know, God's watching.
So North Park, so that's the entrance.
That's correct.
All right, so there you go, folks. And no one would suspect a church because you think it's like God and
Right.
In the middle of a white bread community, a church.
If you, but the beautiful part about it, is no one would suspect a church, and especially if you've got as many people that are programmed around here to know what's going on.
And almost no one's going to go in it.
Right. They already know the deal.
Yeah.
They're already the cream of the crop of Orlando, so they already
Yeah.
know the score. most of them probably attend the same meetings.
Yeah,
with the same hoods.
I was going to say that there's a lot of reptilian DNA here, big time.
I can smell it.
Yeah.
All right. Do you want to get more footage of this building? Do we need to stop in the parking lot here? Do we need to move?
Don't take more of that because they already saw what we already went on record
here,
and
okay,
yeah.
so I'm just going
Just
on instinct,
easier.
which isn't always a good
Just
thing.
easier.
I
to
don't
go
like
back the way
any
you
of
can.
these places, man.
It makes you very uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Well, it pisses me off. Yeah.
All right.
I don't get scared. I get pissed. I'm weird.
I
fight.
Are you pissed?
Yeah, go down this way.
Yeah, I'm sick. I'm sick of this.
Because of what they're doing?
I'm pissed. I'm pissed about what they're doing to
Actually,
everybody.
quick question.
I've run into so many people now that have nanobites in their head. These little stick bots. That's something we just named stick bot. They don't have the right to do that. Who the hell are they? This is part of what's going to happen. Part of what's going to come down. Eventually, when the things are run as planned and want to get off, they got to deal with it with a negotiator. They're going to have to get the hell out of here. They want off the planet, but they want off with their money and power and everything. It ain't going to happen. But besides that, they need to fix some stuff. And in the meantime, they're going to try and hide what goes on through other groups, saying, "Well, you know."
Just the dude on his phone. If you know, it's everybody on the phone here is like, nobody's
normal.
Nobody's like, you know, average you or me. You were talking on a phone. People get angry on the phone. I've never ever seen anybody lose their temper around here.
Yeah.
And I've pushed some buttons on purpose, and they're incapable.
That lady's got a ton of reptilian DNA in her. That's funny as hell. That girl right there in the blonde. Reptilian DNA is fine. It's just aggressive. That's all. And see if you if you have a body, a human body that's got high reptilian DNA in it, and then you can control it. That's a problem. Because that's when you start building something like your quote unquote super soldier. When something's got a ton of reptilian DNA, and then you can make it just whatever, do whatever you want.
Or you could say that's how you win 167 fights in Thailand and only lose 12 times.
I don't know how to get back to that park. I'm confused.
Because that's my record in Thailand.
You're kidding, really?
Baldwin
Awesome,
Park.
man.
Do you think Ben has some reptilian in him?
Oh yeah. Wasn't I talking with you already?
Yeah.
Yeah. I could have sworn I did. Yeah. I'm sorry. I phase in and out of stuff all the time.
So is he like 30% reptilian?
I was getting 37, but then I could see flares up to 57. I didn't mention that. I saw the straight 37, but when I was seeing flares of 57, that was also coming off with a burst of energy that was red, and that must have been with your fighting, and that had to do with getting cranked up.
Yeah.
You know? Let's see how it works.
I never claimed to be a super soldier. I always told Kerry Cassidy and everybody else I just, you know, I love to fight. That's me. That's what I was raised to do. I wanted to be a music teacher, but I ended up being a fighter.
Well,
As I said before, my dad and everybody in my family was pretty much military. They were in the Navy. My grandmother was in the Navy. She was a Wren, the Royal Navy, that is.
Yeah.
My grandfather was in the Navy. Cousins, aunts, uncles, and everything. And we were based over in Hong Kong when I was about 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And I was going to school one day. Some kids came along, didn't like the fact that I was going to their school, and they broke my legs. They were a lot older than I was. They were about 17 or 18. And they just picked on a kid. Yeah, I was young, but the Chinese have a very messed up sense of humor.
Here we go, right back into the Stepford area. I mean, we're getting in the outskirts of it.
More generators leading to nothing.
There's 17 floors underneath that church, and there's 2 more they're working on.
Yeah. She said it was deep. She said it was very deep.
Yeah, 17 floors. And they're finished. Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
She actually drinks blood, and they do it like once a month. And with her, it's a ceremony, and they really enjoy it.
Well, yeah, I can absolutely believe that because I But, you know, I've seen a lot.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've seen a lot of blood drinking with the Masonry, and they're very much into that.
Yeah.
In a big way.
Well, how
Yeah.
did you get to view them drinking blood?
Because my grandfather and my father tried to initiate me into it. So basically, I was present at some of the rituals that they did. I didn't understand any of it at the time because everything was always in Latin. And they're very big on Latin. Latin's very important. It's a very important language to them.
Okay.
So
It makes them feel, you know, they can say whatever they want out in public and no one else knows, blah,
yes,
blah, blah.
They consider it Luciferian. They also consider, you know, this planet theirs.
Yeah.
You know?
The reptilians, that is.
Yeah. Absolutely. They look at them having the template on the human species.
Yep.
That's the way they think.
Well, didn't you say, Jay, that
They've been pretty much controlling stuff for 10 million years on this planet.
And when you look at the Bible, it explains the Adam and Eve story. People say you can't have evolution and Adam and Eve. That's nonsense. You can.
Yeah.
You've got all beings around us that evolve like a slow worm. Doesn't have legs anymore, but at one point in time it did. However, human beings, if they took prehistoric man or whatever and they augmented him or changed him into the Adamu, as the Sumerians call them, you know, right there you've got the Adam and Eve, and you've also got the serpent in the tree that tempted Eve, because it's a representation of a snake, which is a representation of a reptilian. I mean, that's not the perfect ideology of that, then what is, you know?
Yeah, but on that, not to be argumentative, but on that, there was 5 Adams and 5 Eves that came here to this planet 5 times. The first time was 10.572 million years ago. The Adam in all your books, the energy that made that body, is the energy that is in this body. We brought the basic bodies for the paint jobs because there was already souls here that made bodies that were half animal and half human. But see, the thing is, it's like the reptilians have been here. Everybody here has reptilian DNA.
Of course.
And they, like, it's just like you say, they think they own us.
Yeah.
They think we're their fodder.
Right. We have a reptilian part of our brain, the R complex.
Yeah.
Right in the center. Boom. It's there.
Yeah.
It's 100% reptilian.
Yeah.
Nothing we can do gets away with that fact.
Yeah. And it's reptilian itself isn't necessarily bad. It just means aggressive.
Right.
Having reptilian DNA, but then having a very positive vibration soul or spirit inside, that's one hell of a warrior, man. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what y'all are. So it's like, you know, lots of times they have programs where they go into schools, and this is relative to this project. They find those, like, kids, fighters, wrestlers, everything, with a lot of reptilian, and then they check the amount of negativity, and then they say, okay, we want someone that's got some negativity, but not too much, something that we can easily control. And I think some of those kids might turn off to go to some college, and next thing you know, they wind up missing at night and other stuff from time to time.
This is why Special Forces psych tests, they look for certain people. They look for certain things, attributes in that psych test that people wouldn't necessarily deem a necessity to the job that they might be doing.
Yeah.
You know?
This is Ground Zero, the Heather Anderson Project Camelot material, and or rather just the Heather material. Apparently this whole area was some kind of underground complex that's since been demolished. Ben, do you know the name of the facility? What she called it?
All I was aware of what she called it was the HG6 building.
We think they're still doing some kind of experiments down there. I mean, there are a lot of buildings around here that are very curious, as you can see in the footage.
The bottom was never demolished.
It was only the building.
It was only the entrance point up top. Yeah. The bottom has been intact.
That's why they imploded it.
Yeah.
They didn't.
Wasn't it like a 3-story building or something, and it was like blue glass or something?
It was
a hat. It was like a hat to put on something. Yeah, that's all it was.
It was about 16 stories. It was big.
Okay.
That's why it was such an eyesore. It was huge.
Apparently, Heather is dead now. Is that what Of course, you were getting that as well.
Yeah, actually, I'm looking at it right now.
And we were she's
going like this. Heather, what the hell are you saying?
Yeah, she never did go on camera, so I guess she was too afraid or something.
I think she's showing me like this. I think she's trying to say dig in. Yeah. Why don't you just say it? I can hear you.
Dig in the ground here.
Dig into this.
Okay, research it more.
Yeah, because she's going like this.
What else can we research when everything is
nothing right now? Right now, it's just letting it fly.
It's just the time's not right, but eventually this will come out.
Yeah, something's going on in the government right now concerning this place, and the fact that we're here has something to do with that. There's already a chain of events being controlled, and this is a very important part of it that has to happen.
So this has to get exposed.
This happens, and then other people will start listening to it and then start getting curious. The fact that we're here, the fact that they know we're here, and they've already taken pictures of us, taking pictures of it.
Yeah.
Then that causes a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
And they know Ben, they know what I am, and they know who you are. So
yeah. Well, Ben, has anyone come down here and investigated this before? Is there anything? Or is this just
Aaron McCollum was supposed to. He said he wanted to, but whether he followed up on that, I doubt it.
Okay.
But apart from that, nobody's actually, as far as I know, has come down here and checked it out. You're the first person who's actually basically had the balls to do it.
All right.
This girl over here, this lady walking away, she is a hell of a fighter. She's got over 58% reptilian DNA. She can explode. She's a fighter.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else we missed or covered? Because I guess there's really nothing new to add other than just go ahead and go online.
We are being observed. We are being watched while we're here. We've had a plane go over twice. We had.
What do you think? That's some kind of spy drone or something?
Absolutely.
They're taking pictures.
We had
24/7.
2 agents run down there and one passed.
While we were filming over here?
Yeah. Well, you guys were talking because the one girl was running and she was all over the place. These guys were too tight, male and female, supposed to look like a couple. They're not a couple.
They weren't a couple because when I looked at the two of them, they're like this. If they were a couple ready for divorce, then there would have been anger. You can see the anger, but they were just like two people that worked next to each other.
Yeah, pretty much.
Two
and they
desks,
ran military style.
Yeah.
So theoretically, some of these people that are running by, they could theoretically be working in the facility below.
Absolutely, I believe so.
I think most of them do.
Holy smokes!
It's a big place.
And you said 1.2 miles. How many people?
1.2 to 1.3 miles.
How many people you think?
There's over 1,000.
Hence the reason for the new facility with the new apartments. They can't put everybody around here in a house.
And you know what? That other building that was on top, did it have a lot of windows in it? Like they had people in it? Because I'm seeing people were living up there and then they just stay in and go down.
Yeah, I mean, at the one point that was a barracks.
And the graffiti that was on it was their excuse for having to tear it down and put up something more beautiful.
Yeah.
It wasn't. They just needed to be
how they
better
got
about it.
And how they got the graffiti up there is like they would have to be the floating nun. Because it was in such a way, those windows didn't come out, didn't go in. It was on the middle of the building.
Yeah.
It was like they would have to be on the window washer and be halfway down the building to actually put it on there. And it was a code. I believe it was a military code because it wasn't like normal graffiti or anything like that. Yeah. It wasn't saying anything. It was just symbols and words. And letters, basically.
And you said this building was allegedly torn down like 2 weeks after you came forward.
Right after I did the Aaron McCollum video.
And what year was that?
Interview. That was 2010.
Okay.
I believe. And there you go. Again, third time. And
was that normal for them to circle? Like, is there an airport around here? Maybe.
The airport isn't too far away,
yeah,
but
it's not too far away.
Okay.
But this isn't really the kind of place that they fly over.
No, actually, you notice what's flying over is just a small personal planes, and they're not allowed to. Now, it ain't like flying over the White House, but maybe it's even more important. That guy's.
So this is a restricted fly zone.
I don't doubt it.
Absolutely, it's close to VA. It has to be.
Yeah.
by law.
What still bugs me is that damn what they call a school with the hospital where they do the implants, and all those microwave towers over there. Microwave towers were being used to actually carry energy like the HARP system. And the HARP system, what it does, it throws out an energy field. It's like a force field, but it's not like a force field you can't go through. But anything biological that goes through it, it crushes it through the inside. Like in the mid 2010 in Alabama, in Arkansas, there was all kinds of dead red-winged blackbirds and all the fish, turtles and stuff because they went through a certain area and they were crushed on the inside, and on the outside they look great. That's what does it. And Arkansas, there was a facility down there I went to, as Energy, and I ripped that thing up good. And when I looked at it, all I could see was the actual reptilians. 17 floors down, they're just reptilian as hell. You can see them. I could see them walking around. They have DNA experiments down there. They had a weapons cache. They had weapons development, chemical, biological stuff, and see the reason why everything happened there in Arkansas, when our friends our family in space, 98.2. Between 98.2 and 90.3% of all the ships we have in space right now are not just friendly, they're protecting us. And they're also keeping the garbage here on this planet, so when it tries to leave, they can get it. But,
So they know what's going on here.
oh, yeah, they all know.
Don't they have monitoring devices that monitor everything they're doing?
Our friends in space?
Yeah.
No. They can, from a ship, they can get real good information, but it's just not going to be the same as, you know, having someone close hand.
Yeah.
You know, and
well, right again.
this is a very popular spot. There's two planes that just keep flying right around us in a little circle.
Do you think there's like cameras around here that? I mean, we're really close to this supply depot, whatever you would call this.
This is an entrance to going down to go down to the facility.
I've been wondering what that box is on the antenna, like almost like a listening box that's up there on the antenna, the little bit that's sticking out. It's not below, just above the sign.
I don't know.
It's weird. Just saying.
The whole place is weird.
Oh, this whole place is...
I look around, all I feel is like the Stepford neighborhood.
Yeah.
There you go. Right there. Hey,
well,
how you doing? Nice dog.
That's perfect. I'll bet you there's people here with 2.3 kids.
Oh, yeah.
I think the 0.3's got to be a dog, right?
Yeah. It says, I saw her over there. 2 kids, dog, and a mother.
Yeah.
Just running around. Perfect.
Well, do you think they're still kidnapping kids and taking facility?
Before you even started, as soon as you just started to say anything, I got to know right away. I didn't know what you were going to talk about yet.
Well, where do they get the people they experiment on?
They're growing, a lot of them.
Okay. So they're not really doing the super soldier stuff, augmentation.
Well, no,
here?
here, no, they can get people and do it, but some of them are this is generations.
Generations? What do you mean?
The generations of families with these implants.
Oh.
3-4. We're in the middle of in the middle of the 4th generation.
Well, you said 3-4 with another term, the Therians. I asked you that question in the past.
Yeah.
So what does that mean, 3-4? What?
3-4 is 3 to 4. Like when someone's had if someone wants to know about, I heard once as a Roman soldier, and I said, yeah, 3-4, and what does that mean? I said it was 3.4, 3 to 4 lives ago. So that means the life you're in now isn't finished. That's the point. So it was actually 3 lives ago.
Huh.
3 lives before this one.
Okay.
So that's how it just comes
Look
in.
at this one. Watch this one. Banking right over.
Yeah, the old bank right over us.
How about that? The girl in the car just looking at us. All right, let's go check out that statue.
They're out of place. I have no idea.
And do you think it's an Anunnaki facility?
Well, this is government.
Yeah, watch out for these.
Yeah, this is government,
flowers.
but there's it's things that run the government. So that's what it is.
See, the one thing I didn't know was how far I knew it was deep, but I don't know how big it was. So I don't know how long or how underneath this whole area the base actually goes.
1.2 miles.
Oh, there you go.
What is that? 1.2 miles deep.
Shape. It's a weird looking shape. It's 1.2 miles. It's kind of like this, and then it goes in. It's weird looking. But I get 1.2 miles. I get 1.2, 1.3, like 1.2-3. So depending on how you look at it and how you do it.
And what do they primarily do in this facility?
They're doing research. They want to build these these implants for the people, so that they can control them, and then other people can't tell. They don't have any little side effects,
Well, how many people are they able to plant or chip?
I have no idea. I don't,
Okay.
but there's a lot. There's over 1,000 here.
Is it focused on super soldiers or just general?
No.
Everything?
That's how you can take over a government, a business, or anything. You just put the people in there.
So
you can train them. You can. I'm sure that they. Well, no, they can't download information into them and just like something out of like the Matrix or something. That they can't do that yet. But they can train them quickly. They can use these implants in their brains to actually get them to learn quicker. So.
Do you think this is like a Illuminati facility or?
No, Illuminati. They're nothing. They're a name for children to be afraid of. They're at the bottom of the pole. The real problems are the actual lizards that live here. The regular Anunnaki, but there's also 7 of them, 7 humanoids that actually are out in public and run things. The number one dude, I call him Lloyd's of London. He's out in London, on the outskirts of it.
Lloyd's TSB.
So there's like 4 of these high voltage boxes.
Right. What the hell are they powering, eh?
Yeah. And
I like this vent over here.
Lift station.
Yeah, there's some kind of. Let's go. Let's see if we can get.
When I was in the UK, when my grandfather and my dad were trying to initiate me into the masonry, they took me to a storage facility. It was a naval store, and basically you went down into like the sewer area. There was a ladder going down. It was very dark. It was very dingy. It smelled bad, and they unbricked the wall to get to the inner chambers.
Yeah.
And then they would brick the wall up behind them, and they would go through this. They'd literally have a bricking up the wall, have us in there while they were doing all their little ceremonies and speaking Latin and all their weird shit that they did. Yeah. And then they would unbrick it, come back out, and like that. And it was all to do with grooming people for
getting them ready.
Right.
Yeah.
Getting ready for the high degrees of the Freemasonry.
Just put them in.
That's it.
Just sneak them in. Look at over here. There's actually a ladder like they would be coming out of a pool. There's a ladder like they would be coming out of a pool, and you can literally see where the 2 metal plates open up, and it's a shaft that goes straight down. And there's another one over there. The small one over there is made for material to go in. This one over here is for people.
Wow. Yeah, there's 2 of them. There's like.
That one over there is material.
Right,
it's to bring something specific up. But this one closest to us, and it's actually got the handles for it. That's people getting on and off.
Wow.
There's a plane.
They're spying on us too.
They're aware.
Right over our head.
Project Rapid Eye right there.
What are these antenna things? You can't see it from here.
They're probably running our faces already.
Yeah, and of course everybody around here is in the system, so nobody's going to question anything because they're all integrated into this little matrix that they got going on here.
They make good money.
Yeah, they all make good money.
These people have a lot of money.
They have a lot of money. They have a lot of power.
Yeah.
Yeah, most influential people in Orlando are here. People that work for Gray Robinson, big attorneys. They were a lot of the shareholders are ranked like 3rd and 4th most powerful people in Orlando, right behind the mayor and the senator. So, Buddy Dyer and all that lot. So,
That's wild.
So this is a big money commercial part. So this is the kind of people that they want in their system. Yeah. Because it's control.
If this property over here wasn't maintained so explicitly, it's like a haircut. That's so exact, with all the trimming around everything. Yeah. If they didn't do it like that, everyone here would be uncomfortable because their brains are made to focus on exactness, on right. Exact parallels. It would drive me crazy because I'm in most of their heads right now just feeling basic stuff. That's exactly what's going on. I swear it's like the Stepford Wives, but it's the Stepford community.
It was the base. It was the building itself. The building itself was like the bad apple. It stood out like a sore thumb. But as they say, I don't think the human brain's supposed to accept perfection.
Yeah.
You know, it would raise too many alarms. People would say it's off. But that building being there and being as derelict as it was, I mean, come on, the building had graffiti. Do you think there's anybody going to come from around here to graffiti that building?
Was that building located in this area?
Yeah, that's the one we just came from. That was over there.
That church is what bugs me, man. I see that, and I see people sitting there, almost like when you go into a big library, and there's stuff everywhere for people, and then you walk in, and then there's people over there. Hi, how you doing? Can I help you find something? It's like a welcome station. It's not a church. That you go in there, and then boom, you just drop.
Right, because originally when I tried to sign up and become a member of that church, they weren't having any of it. It was a Lutheran church a few years ago, and they were like, "We're not accepting new members." I'm sorry, it's not a church of Scientology. I don't have to pay to come to a Lutheran church. I should be able to just walk right in, right?
Well, you should ask them, well, I'd like to make a generous donation. Would that help me become a member?
They get rid of you quicker. They would just say, "Get him out of here now." Let's call that guy with the little ice cream thing.
We're looking at your bank account. You can't afford to make a donation. And you notice, look at this. Look at this. Walking past, people oblivious, just walking past it.
Yeah.
As if it's not even there.
They don't care because they have money.
Right.
They have a more structured mind. So and if they were to go by and see something, what I'm seeing is literally they're feeling their heads being pushed away.
They could be taken out of their beds while they're sleeping and not even realize it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's the perfect.
They can actually just get up out of bed and just go somewhere and then come back and then it's like that other guy Justin. He had that one stick bot here and a stick bot here, and this one over here had something to do with memory. And then this was something. This motor function. Do I have it backwards?
Can you explain a little bit about who Justin is, because people may not know? Don't give his full name.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna. Justin's a real cool dude who was involved. Got kind of pulled into some stuff that he wound up getting in. He wound up running into some people, and then next thing you know, he's taken literally
by like My Labs.
Yeah.
And because apparently he was in a limo in Las Vegas with Barbara Bush, and Mangala,
Barbara Bush was in there, and
someone else.
There was two
Mrs.
other
Frost
women.
or
One lady with a black hair was sitting in the back on the left-hand side with black hair, and it was kind of done up a big bun. And then Justin was on the left with his really deep blue war, and then
Michael Spindler was there.
Yeah, and then I'm seeing Barbara, and then I'm seeing this window over here was Michael, and then in the front there's some other guy, and then there's another driver, and there's it's like something else is missing in there. I can't see what else is. I can't see what else. Something else is missing. There's someone else in there I can't see right now. I can't focus on the energy, and apparently I'm not supposed to talk about it yet. Otherwise, I'd be able to see it. But there's something else there.
Well, they were going to some function, some facility that had like 20 layers underground levels.
Yeah, like 23 layers.
Levels,
it had 23 levels in the ground. 19 to 23 is where you never go.
And they were basically being used as bodyguards.
Yeah, basically that's it. Just mindless bodyguards.
Did they have like altars or something like that, or were they like totally blacked out and oblivious?
I don't know. See, they some of them were having some issues with remembering part of what was going on, and then but something being out of place. Like Michael thought he was on the left. He wasn't. He was on the right. Because I'm back right now looking at it, and I see the energy and who was where. Yeah. But we can't talk about that anymore, though.
Okay.
Let's go take a look at that statue.
I just wanted to talk to Ben Murphy to get a little bit information about your background, Christy, I mean, you've already admitted to me you think you're not a super soldier, and that's fine because everybody has their own little piece to play in this puzzle. So what exactly, what angle do you come from? Or just give just a little brief rundown.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're right. I don't believe I'm a super soldier. As I've mentioned before on other interviews, my parents were all military. My grandfather, everybody in my family was in the Royal Navy, just about. And we were stationed in Hong Kong when I was about 7 or 8, and I was going to a school outside the British colony. My parents thought it was very important that I learned Chinese and other languages and things like that. So as I was going to school one day, some kids cornered me. They were a lot older than I was, and they attacked me. They broke my legs pretty severely, and I was put in hospital for just about a year. And then my parents, they helped me through it to an extent, but they said I was weak and pathetic, and I had to learn how to stand up for myself. So what my mother did was she was into martial arts back then, and she took me and put me into a friend of the family's that lived on the Thai-Laos border, and he did Muay Thai. He was half Japanese, half Thai, and he basically instructed me with a whole bunch of other people, a lot of people there. It's a very good camp, SKX camp, and that's where I learned Muay Thai, and I was pretty good for a few years. From the years 1995 to 99, I was fighting all the time. I won the Thai National Championship. In 97, I held on to that for 2 years. And within that time, I had a win streak of 167 wins with only 12 losses. Okay? They retired me a spinster champion, which means there was nobody else who wanted to basically fight me. The stadium lost money. They booted me out. It was right around that time that I got kicked out of Thailand for defending a young girl. Basically banished. I can't ever go to Thailand again. In fact, they wanted to actually shoot me in Thailand. So,
how did you get out? Did you have to go to the U.S. Embassy?
No, I was in the British Embassy.
British Embassy.
What happened was there was a girl. She was 13 years old. She was her name was Kamara Yukara. She was a working girl. Her father had put her on the streets, told her get to work. All right, and that's what she did. She was selling herself. She used to hang around myself and my brother. And basically, what I did was when I first met her, she was coming on to me and my brother, and it's like, whoa, what lay off for a second. And when we found out what she did for a living, it was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to pay you for a week. I'm going to buy you for a week, and what you're going to do is go into the gym, and you're going to get water for my fighters. You're going to mop the floors. You're going to take care of the ring ropes, everything. So she had basically a little apprenticeship of sorts.
Yeah.
So, the problem arose when one night she was in trouble because her father owed a group of guys money. He skipped town, and so that debt instantly became hers. She didn't have any money, not the kind of money that they were looking for, because her father was into gambling. And so that's where my life really split into two paths, where I could have gone with my brother and been the bad guy, or I chose the path I did, and I believe I made the right choice. So the girl, Kimari, she was 13 years old. The reason why I was kicked out of Thailand, and there was a lot of they had a big issue with that, was because the guys she owed money to were basically cutting her up. I walked out and I saw my brother walking one way. He had tears in his eyes, and he said, come on. So, because he didn't think there was anything that we could do. There were 7 guys. Now, he was walking away. He wasn't coming back. And when I looked and I saw what was happening to her, I kind of lost it a bit. And so I took care of the guys that were cutting her up. I put all 7 of them in the ground. And when the police showed up, they arrested me. I spent 6 months in Chiang Mai prison, which was hell on earth, because you're chained to another guy for 6 months. If you blink, they beat you. If you talk, they beat you. The blinking thing came about because the triads were trying to organize escape parties through Morse code. So so blinking, talking, it was a no-go. But when the British embassy, I used some of my fight money to help bribe the Thai government so they could use the CCTV footage because they didn't want to do it. It was considered not admissible. When I got out, I found Kamari. She survived. She was pretty bad, and I took her back to the UK and put her through school. So, that was taking a bad situation, or taking what I did to those guys and making sure it wasn't for nothing. So, I had to straighten myself with God.
So when did you ultimately end up in the United States?
That was in 2002.
Okay.
That was in
And
2002.
what exactly led up to the events of you meeting with Heather Anderson? I mean, how did she find you?
How did she find me? She didn't find me. She found my wife, because she was good friends with my wife.
Okay.
Okay, they went to high school together. Yeah. And so my wife, when she was on the run, basically, she went to my wife, and she said, "Look, I'm in serious trouble. I need a place to stay that's pretty much off the grid." At the time, I didn't have my social. I didn't have any kind of documentation, so I was off the grid. It was just my wife's name that was staying there. We were living in a motel, so it was on the fly as it was. It was the perfect place for her at the time, And
what year was this?
This was 2009. I believe it was 2009. I'm not too good with the years and stuff because we lived there for quite a while, and the years kind of merged and bled into each other.
So what did she do? Did she hand you a bunch of documents?
No. She was there for about 2 or 3 nights, and we could tell. I thought that she was in trouble with a guy, that she had like a boyfriend that was searching for her, looking for her, because that's what the kind of vibe that I got. But I'm not very intuitive like that. And when she actually sat us down, because we had people driving past. We had the landlord, a guy called Ben, the guy who was the manager, said, "Look, there were these people asking about you guys, just asking if you had anybody staying with you." And so I was like, "No, we're just us." So after all that kind of happened, it was we kind of had to really sit her down and say, "Look, what the hell are you into?" And that's when she kind of broke down and started talking about it. And so looking for basically a win-win situation, I said, well, you know what, if you go public with this, then maybe you'll get to a certain profile where they're not going to come after you anymore. Because once the damage is done, surely they're not going to care. And so it took a few weeks to convince her, but in the end,
that's the right thing to do, definitely.
Yeah, and so that was the best way to do it. But she still didn't want to commit to anything, and I wanted her to do the interview with Terry.
So, did she ever give you any pictures or any drawings, or?
No, she didn't.
Do you have a picture of Heather?
I don't have any pictures of Heather, but under the circumstances, I'd never been in this kind of situation.
Do you think we can
before.
go back in like an old high school yearbook, maybe find a picture there?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, that might be something we could investigate for the future.
I don't think that it would matter now, because now that she's no longer with us,
but is that her real name, Heather Anderson?
No, okay. Absolutely not.
Does it matter if we protect her identity?
Not anymore. It's not going to hurt her any more than she's already been hurt.
Can you say who she really is? Her real name?
I don't know if I should just yet, because I don't want the same thing to happen to me that happened to me earlier this February.
Okay, then
that's all.
Follow your intuition there. Okay.
But I have no problems with passing that name along to you, and then you publishing it.
Okay.
It's just I don't want to say it on the record. That's all.
Yeah. All right. So I guess obviously Heather finally agreed to release this information, and then what happened? Because you never really heard anything else. It's just like the material came out. That was it. What happened to Heather?
Heather, she did have family actually in Germany, and she left the country for a while. And the last communication I got from Heather, she was constantly calling me up, giving me updates on her then husband, which was Roger, who was allegedly one of the units that she managed to get away from the underground facility. Okay, they had a romance, they were together, and he was having a lot of issues. He was just psychologically, he wasn't 100%.
And these are like one of the super soldiers they were augmenting.
Right. Cybernetic, half human.
And you mentioned something in the lines of they basically, because we were trying to figure out where are they getting these soldiers, these troops, these young men. And you made the suggestion that they possibly were taking dead bodies.
That was
reanimating. Did Heather actually say that?
Pretty much. That's exactly what she said. They were taking fallen soldiers, and you know, when you think about it logically, we never get to see any of the fallen soldiers. You know, they have a coffin, they have a flag draped over it, but nobody gets to see the body. Unless
you're right.
So you know, it just raises too many questions. You know, the way it kind of coincides with that, if they're taking them and doing whatever, you know, be it an experiment on just a cadaver, ethically it's still wrong, you know.
Or theoretically, they could just take a clone, make a clone body and say that's your young, you know, your man.
You're absolutely right.
That died.
You know, you've got DNA there where they could quite easily clone people.
Okay.
You know, we know for a fact that they do cloning experiments in Korea. You know, scientists have already been arrested and you know, and that's just, you know, public media. So, you know, who's to say what happens, you know, under the radars of the military and things like that, especially when you have companies like DARPA that are involved. And
so DARPA is involved. You think that involved with this?
DARPA was 100% involved, and Merck as well.
Merck, yeah, because I know in the Heather material mentioned something about the omega-3.
Right.
You remember what that was about? They took the bodies.
Yeah, that's right. They took the bodies and they were...
Was Roger part of that batch they would have killed?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Sorry for cutting you off, but what did they do with the bodies?
Basically, they they kind of recycled them.
As far as so they like stuck them. What? I guess we assume maybe it's a vat.
Yeah, they basically were turned into an amino protein that they were able to fuel the other soldiers or the other candidates that came in. But it was also on a level that she said was almost cellular. So what they wanted to do was they were trying to get the experience. So it was taking the soldiers that were dead, but giving them that cell memory at the same time as their own memory, if you know what I'm saying. So, you know.
Do I recall the tune of the number 600? Does that sound familiar?
Right.
The number of soldiers she estimated was about.
Yes,
what,
I believe
600
so.
soldiers.
600 soldiers.
That's how many she had to exterminate.
Yes, because the first lot they had a certain from what she told me, they had a certain like scientific team for the first batch, and the scientific team were not up to par. They made a lot of promises that weren't fulfilled, and the first batch that they made were psychologically broken. The only memory they were able to recall was the time of their own death. So they were reliving past trauma over and over again. They couldn't get past it. So that's why a lot of them acted like children. They were crying and they were just, you know, sat in the corner rocking, and they just couldn't move past from that experience because there was some kind of block in their memory that was allowing them to start fresh. So it was almost like 10 minutes before they died, and then they could not get another memory. It wasn't happening. So that's when they kicked out the other group, and that's when they brought in DARPA. And DARPA was already working with Merck with all kinds of vaccines. They were already orchestrating the H1N1 vaccine. So you had the things like the way they were setting that up for the Guillain-Barré syndrome, the widespread Guillain-Barré syndrome. If you go and get a flu shot today, you're getting the H1N1 shot, whether you want it or not. It's automatically in all of the influenza
so
vaccines now.
All that was done here in this
I don't believe that was done here,
okay.
but it, she had inside knowledge on all that.
Okay.
So that was. Yeah,
well, she
explained
talks in the material. She mentions a KTL white and trying to restore the immunity process because they were doing they put a lot of implants and something called an HGEY.
Right.
Do you?
I don't know the science behind it.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff she said was above me. So.
Okay. Well, yeah. Again, he just reviewed the material, but did and then she created this second generation. I guess we're gonna call them the second generation.
Right.
What does she call the units with the titanium bones?
They were designated as the NHCU, the non-human cybernetic units.
Ah.
Okay, and those guys worked. Those guys were workhorses. What they did was they thought, okay, the human emotional aspect of the soldiers was not working out because the human aspect was getting in. So remove the human aspect, keep the brain, but try and cut it off from the emotions. So that's what they were basically trying to do. Keep a human brain inside more of a mechanical, internally structured mechanically. So they'd have skin grafts on the outside, things like that. And those guys were the guys that, could pick up a tank and things like that. But they had damage. If they picked up something heavy, they were only flesh on the outside, so it would literally tear the skin away from the bones.
Yeah, and I want to comment that basically they would take titanium bones and then they would clone human flesh over it.
Right, correct.
Yeah, and how many of these units were
there were a lot. I don't remember the exact number, to be honest with you.
Because I thought there might be 20, but...
Right. In the facility itself, there was a small number. Okay. But from what she says, there were a lot more spread out. Okay. Now, she knew that the government wanted to orchestrate a mock ET attack. Okay? But she never believed that was the original reason these guys were created. She doesn't believe that they were created for population control or population lowering, because they have the ability to lower the population if they want to do that. If they want to do it tomorrow, they could cook up anything and do it to us. So she believed that it was for something that was coming, or something that was, they were more of a protection aspect than a...
Like if martial law was declared, they would round people up.
Maybe, yeah, possibly, because let's be honest, any of the soldiers that we do have, you send them over to Iraq and you tell them to round people up and they'll do it. You tell an American soldier to round up U.S. citizens, and the moral aspect is going to kick in. They're not going to be so gung-ho or easy to do it.
And same thing with these NHCUs. Do they ever feel any remorse, or would they say, no, hey, why are we killing these people? Why are we working, doing all this?
Apparently, yes, they did. They whether remorse was a question, whether that was the right way to put it, but they questioned everything. It was almost like a child.
It's almost Skynet's
and right, and they would repeat questions.
Okay.
They would repeat everything, apparently. Like, if they were told to run over a wall, they would need to know why they had to run over the wall. They had to be given directive, and they had to know why they were carrying it out. Now, none of them ever disobeyed anything, but they questioned everything.
Are you familiar with the clone that was created by Dr. Michael Wolff? Well, in his book, Catchers of Heaven, are you familiar with that?
No, I'm afraid not.
Okay, yeah, he claims that he created a clone called, I believe it was called Joey or something like that. And it was actually, it's an acronym, stands for something. But he said that the original, that they were trying to create these clones for military applications, and they found that this first generation of clones, they were like you said, they were like little children. You give them a gun, they would cry. They wouldn't want to kill anyone. They wouldn't even want to kill a little animal. And so they had them all scrapped. So it's kind of like overlays what you're saying. So, but that unfortunately, Michael Wolff was, I believe he was killed as well. And the book is costs $500 now on Amazon. It's a rare book, but yeah. So.
It fits in with the theory of design that was mentioned earlier, about how when you take the human race and you manipulate them, when we took them from the year dot and we were manipulated, and then when the finished project wasn't as good as they wanted, you had the flood. And it's the same sort of thing. Creating these soldiers is creating people. They're not happy with the finished design, get rid of it and then do it again. So
okay,
Now
you said a few moments earlier you said that Heather contacted your wife and that's how she got away from the first time.
Right.
But then you mentioned to me a little bit earlier today about a car accident that was something faked her. She faked her death or something?
Right, that's correct. And when she went to Strasbourg, when she originally left, and she felt that it was safe enough for her to...
Okay, so she was she was in the safe houses, then she went to Germany.
That's correct.
Or is Austria, Strasbourg?
Yes, Strasbourg. It's around that area. She went to Germany first, and then she had family in Germany.
Okay.
So that's why she felt that was a safe place.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so she went there, and I was told by members of her family that she was killed in a car crash. Okay, certain members of I guess the truth movement pushed the issue to the point where it was almost impossible for her to actually stay hidden or complete the kind of operation that she was trying to do while she was trying to just disappear. So she had no choice but to just stay in hiding. The last time I spoke to her, she was in Canada, and she was in pretty good spirits the last time I spoke to her.
But I heard a rumor, maybe this is not true, that she was running low on money and she went back to work with these people. Is that?
No, that's absolutely true. For a short period of time, that's what I heard. Whether it's true or not, I mean, I say it's absolutely true, but I know the kind of woman that she was. And if they offered her a deal, she would have definitely taken it, because there was no way for her to really. She couldn't work outside the private sector or even in the public sector. There was no way of her to be able to do it. All of her degrees and everything. It's not like she could just manipulate that system and then say, okay, well that's not really me, but no, I'm not wanted by these authorities.
Go to China. North Korea.
But then you have the same.
All your family's here,
but yes and no. See, the way she put it across was that a lot of the same people that were after her over here also had connections in China, Korea, Russia. The CIA is about relationships. It's about having good relationships with people. So, if they're going to throw a dog a bone, they don't want to know if it tastes good or not.
Well, so I heard earlier that earlier this year she died. That was, I guess, around maybe March, or maybe it was probably a little bit early. February. Okay. And do you know how she finally died this time around?
She was shot.
Okay. And then how did you find out she was shot?
I got an email.
From
just an anonymous email saying that she was shot.
And this person, could you write them back?
Yeah, I could write them back.
Did you ever get any other response?
I thought it was just a joker. I just thought it was someone yanking my chain. So I asked them to describe what she looked like, and they described them. They described her to a T, basically.
Okay.
They took pleasure in it. I got the feel from the kind of person that it was who did it, so I already knew.
All right.
There's no possible way they would have known that unless they did it. And I don't know. I know one person who knows her, who knew her, who worked with her, that I knew pretty well.
Yeah, and then you got shot.
I did.
When was that?
February.
Right around the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Was it like the same week or a few days apart?
Yeah, it was about 2 days later.
Well, obviously you're still alive, so did the bullet
I got 2 in my back, and 1 went through my back and out my chest. So
okay.
That lady, that's the one we're talking about. she got strangled, like grabbed, and then shot within something to knock her out, and then she's just
You're talking
somewhere.
Heather.
Yeah, Heather.
Okay.
And she was grabbed physically and immediately controlled her throat, I guess screaming, breathing, and everything, and gave her a drug. And then they took her out of the place where she was at, and took her out somewhere. She was already still drugged and just shot the crap out of her.
Well, why would they do that? I mean, she was already working with them again. I mean, was it all ruse?
No, she had to go. Are you kidding?
Well,
you break some rules, you have some issues.
Well, okay, I guess that's my question.
She broke some big rules.
So she goes back working with them.
That was to get her home, get her complacent, and then boom.
Mafia style.
So that was the whole goal all along, was to kill her.
Well, after they were watching her, but after she took off, then it's like she's got to go. So you bring her in, bring her back out of fear, and then you control the situation, get them calm, and then some guy grabbed her by the throat. Then another guy hit her with the hypodermic, and then they pulled her somewhere, somewhere out of the way, and then boom, boom, boom. I'm seeing 3, maybe 4 shots.
Were they reptilians?
They were just, what's here.
Okay.
There's down here that place underneath where we just went, or where we're at. There's a cart. There's guys walking around. They have a cart they're pushing. It's mostly empty. There's some stuff in it. It's like parts that have been surgery taken out of people. And it's weird. There's mechanical stuff in there. There's some regular body parts. I'm seeing an officer. He's a colonel. He's a full colonel. He's got a dark green uniform on. I'm seeing him in dress green. And I don't know what his name is. I'm getting something like Stevenson. I don't know. I can't. I suck with names. I'm no good with names. But it's something related to Stevenson. But he's controlling the gig over here. He's the top dog.
What do you think is going to happen to him when disclosure is going to take place?
They're all taken care of.
Are they going to be sent off-world, or are they going to go to FEMA camps?
No, they can go to hell anywhere. They can go to the Caribbean. They can,
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Ghetto pass.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Ben. So you got shot. What is it that you would like to see for the future of all this? I mean,
I don't want to get shot again. I don't want to be okay. Not only did I get shot, but about 2 months ago I was hit by a semi. So, they were trying to finish the job.
Yeah, that was no accident.
I'm thinking 3rd time lucky, But I don't know. I don't plan on dying. I think I'm pretty hard to kill as it is. So. At the end of the day, they can give me their best shot. It doesn't really bother me. I noticed they're only targeting me, and that's fine. So, but I don't know why or what I would possibly know. But saying something about my memory.
Yeah,
that was mentioned.
There's still a few nanobots in your memory. I'm seeing them try a 3rd time. I'm seeing them try a 4th time.
Well, wait a minute, Jay. You said why would they put nanobots into Ben?
Actually, he had more in there at one time.
Well, okay, but why? What was he?
Just working them. When he was fighting, he had them in him.
Huh.
It made him more aggressive. Is that a dog? Yeah. It made him more aggressive, and it also something about controlling anger through the fighting. The control of his aggression in fighting, going through the basic katas or whatever that you use, your style, cranking up your aggression, laying it back, cranking up, laying it, just controlling it almost like a joystick to see how everything was working, what they were doing, experimenting with you. Because I can see you've been on the hospital bed before, and it's cold, solid steel.
I was overdeveloped, and anybody usually sees these says wow, because it's the Thai boxing boom. That's what I used. My main tool was kicking, and I was good at it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But there's still some in there. They're trying to slowly eat away at memories, and honestly, what's in there is stuff they really couldn't get out. And it's not doing a very good job. That's why when we get something to eat, I'm going to get my energy back a little bit. I want to go back in your head and just burn them.
All right.
Kill the bums.
And whatever happened to the Aaron McCollum interview you did a few years back? Are the transcripts still available for that?
They will be. You can publish them. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was a damn good interview. It explained a lot. So.
And you said that not only was the interview taken offline, so was your hard drive destroyed.
My hard drive was destroyed. Also, Tamara Natvidad, she won't mind. She's all good. She works for the Universal Truth Collective with Kathy Buckaloo, again, very good friend of mine. When she tried to recall the data that I had sent her and everything that she had, which was pictures of the building when it was standing, aerial shots of the building, transcripts, everything, it was all gone. It was removed from her hard drive, and she hadn't done it because she would never have got rid of that stuff. So, that's
why we have so little evidence today. It just makes it really hard to conduct investigation.
Right, yeah.
Everything goes, all we have is just a testimony and hearsay.
But a really weird feeling and a really weird place.
Yeah. There you have it.
Right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, everyone. And thank you, Ben, for coming out here and showing us around this really creepy place, I guess you could say. All right. And everybody, thanks for listening in, and until next time, bye-bye.
I'm seeing doctors out here talking in the past.
Oh.
This is old. This is a long time ago.
Yeah.
Is your window going down, James? You need it.
These guys were like World War II? Yeah, the coats what they're wearing, the doctors and everything looks like about World War II.
Yeah,
We need to get a close-up of that statue back there.
So you said that there used to be a lot of vultures.
Yeah, a lot of
that
vultures.
site.
I remember the first time I saw one. Sorry.
And then, Jay, you think that the towers?
The tower, I just
building?
all of a sudden a turkey vulture just flew by us, and I looked at it, and I just for no reason just flashed right back at the tower, and I saw I saw a sharp frequency coming out, and it's actually like a short long. It's a varied pulse. It's like a pulse, and it just bugs the hell out of the vultures, so they don't go near it.
And
it messes with them.
What is this pulse doing to humans?
I don't know. It's not doing much of anything that I can see.
Okay.
It's just, but it's not helping anything. It's just what they have going on over there. It has to do with protection.
Well, I was curious. Do you happen to know who might have shot Ben? Was it the same
Please
group?
tell.
Was this? You think it was the same? Was it just a random coincidence? Which I don't really believe in, but
No. It was done just like the semi.
same group of people.
Yeah, but I keep floating back into it's like an Oriental group, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because
Yeah, it does to Ben.
Maybe Ben's not telling us something.
No, honestly, remember this is there's that I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing involved in that.
When I was working in the UK, I was the head of security for a casino. I did that for a long period of time, and I know a lot of Thais, a lot of Japanese people over there. I got in pretty deep with some of the Japanese guys and the Chinese guys. Yeah, the Triad and the Yakuza working together, especially in Plymouth, small provincial city. Instead of fighting for power, it's easier to share it. They share the profits, and the problem is it's the Japanese that overall run the area, and the Chinese always want a little take. So, I know how bad the Japanese can be. one of my best friends is his cousin comes over and stays with us sometimes at Christmas, and he's missing like 2 fingers. He's a gangster over there. So you know, I know the guys that run in those circles. So but it could be anyway. I've got a lot of people that just don't like me. So you know, I could have I picked up people that didn't like me in Burma, Nepal, Malaysia. Started some trouble in Taiwan. Yeah, the list's pretty long and distinguished. So you know.
The truck, when you had that truck accident, the driver, he was a regular looking American, wasn't he?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, because I see that and I get fed.
But at the end of the day, you know, they do have a lot of people that would, you know,
would do stuff.
Yeah, right.
Because it's kind of like a joint effort, and because what I was seeing when I went back in it and looked, I want to get some food. I mean, this will be easier. It's like the 2 guys talking and kind of laughing at each other, but not too happy about it. And they said, "Well, they didn't take care of it. We'll do it." And then they did it in the truck. And when they say they didn't take care of it, the thing with the shooting, I swear that was those other guys.
Well, when James said, "Why didn't Heather just go to China?" As I said, I mean, I worked with the Chinese Special Forces for you know, it was a short time, but I got pretty decent insight into the kind of people that they are. And for the Chinese, it's pretty much business as usual. But as I said before, the CIA, it's all about relationships. You know, they'd happily do jobs for each other, you know, as long as they were getting something out of it. So it's all about communication. You know, these days CIA agents read The Guardian and foreign newspapers and sit in offices. They're not as active in the field as they usually are, so it's easier to outsource that kind of farm work to other agencies and you know, other groups. And there's plenty of groups out there with especially splinter cells out there which would happily pick up that kind of work.